So people who are working in the SAP for the first time, considering all of you, I will be starting from the scratch onwards. If at all any one of you want to start your career as a SAP security consultant, what are the things you should be learning in a systematic order? Firstly, what are the primary responsibilities of a security consultant? If someone asking you what is the responsibility of a security consultant, what will be the answer? Any one of you? Some of you are yes.
Authentication and authorization part.
So communication and authorization. Okay.
To give an
Yes. Any
access to users.
user access? Yes. Very good. Any more answers? Yes. No one. So, if someone asking you what are your primary responsibilities, it is going to be user administration. So, what is your primary responsibility as a security consultant? You are going to perform something called as the user administration. So, what is meant by user administration? As a SAP security consultant, you are going to take care of each and every SAP consultant in your project. So total how many SAP consultants you are having in your project? You are going to provide them user IDs, you provide them access whenever required, you are going to generate their reports in this way. All the user related activities you are going to perform here in this way. For suppose if at all the first thing that comes here is the ERP security, that is providing user administration for the ERP users. So in the ERP system is technically called as a ECC system, and note a point that it is a older version which is about to expire in the year 2027, but recently getting again 3 years of extension in this way. So basically this is the older version of the ERP system, and your new ERP system is going to be S4 HANA system in this way. So what is the fundamental thing you are going to learn here is how to provide user administration part for all SAP ERP users. So firstly, what is the purpose of SAP ERP? Any one of you? Purpose of ERP for your business. Yes, previously no one have heard about ERP.
It's
Yes or no?
enterprise resource planning software. SAP is one of them. So it involves coordinating the process and everything. Means from the in the organization, whatever the process are
Okay.
divided, they all been integrated, and
Okay.
every data transfer will be happening to this software
Okay.
regarding
Right.
sales, finance, and everything.
Okay. So, or else I would just like to simplify what Sumant has said here. So, ERP software is useful for maintenance of all the departments of your business. So, you are working for a project, maybe a construction project, maybe a manufacturing project, maybe a retail store project. So, whatever the project or the client you are having, they have certain business. In that business there are lot of departments like a finance department, sales department, HR department in this way. So by using the SAP ECC older version or SAP S4 HANA newer version, you are going to provide user administration part for the ERP users. So here we are going to see a quick overview about ECC security or the S4 HANA security. So how are you going to provide user administration here is firstly you perform something called as the user maintenance activity. So what is the meaning of user maintenance activity? You create a new SAP user required, you change the user IDs, you delete the user IDs, you reset the user IDs. In this way, all the create, modify, delete, reset, any activity required for any of the SAP user ID, as a security consultant you perform that activity. Followed by, we are having something called as roles and profiles. So what are you going to do here is, for the SAP users you are going to provide access. So how to provide access to a SAP user ID? It is done through the roles and profiles in this way. So roles and profiles are two different concepts we are having, which are useful for providing access to the user. So we are going to discuss what is meant by role, what is meant by profile, how to customize roles, what are different types of roles, how to assign these roles to the user. The same concepts for the profile also. So roles and profile, two different concepts to provide access to the user. And the final concept you are going to have here is the authorization, the heart of security. What is meant by authorization here? Authorization is nothing but restricting to certain level or certain people to some extent. For suppose yesterday I went for a for my passport renewal. So there what happened, in front of some server rooms they have stated a board that only authorized people are allowed, meaning you should be either an employee or some special ID card to enter in that premises. That's it. You need a special permission to enter that. Even the same thing you see in your offices also. So wherever in your workplace you are having, there also the same type of things. Or for suppose you go to a restaurant, in front of kitchen they will be putting this board, only authorized people are allowed, meaning you should be having some special permission to enter the premises in this way. So these are the core concepts you are these are the core concepts you are going to have here in this way. So just a second. So right, am I audible to you? I hope so. Yes. Right then. So what is happening? These are the four core concepts of your security: users, roles, profiles, authorizations. In this way, these are the core things you are having. As I cannot explain you each and every topic which we are discussing, a document will be provided for you after completion of this, where you are having detailed information about all the concepts which we are going to discuss, like single user maintenance, user groups, multi user maintenance, or you have how to activate roles, what are different types of roles, how to identify default authorizations, what are authorization, how to create a customized T codes, how to create customized objects. All are this part only. SAP audits, you have transport management system, you have central user administration, you are having something called as critical authorization. In this way, there are profile parameters, security policies. In this way, there are many more to discuss here. Everything will be discussed here in this fundamental only. So here note that we are going to start this one which very much basic. So that is going to be tomorrow's session. In tomorrow's session we will be starting with very basic concept called what is SAP, what are SAP products, what are SAP modules, what are SAP layers, which is going to be helpful for even the people who have never seen the concept called SAP. Followed by user access. In this way, step by step we will be doing. So in this way we will be covering all the concepts here in this way. So this thing what happened in the ECC system or the S4 HANA system, we are going to have something called as transaction codes. So what are we going to have here? transaction codes in this way. Every SAP ERP user implements certain transaction codes. Based on the transaction codes they require, we provide them user access. Again, something new terminologies you are going to listen here. So what are these transaction codes? So simple example, a HR consultant want to create a employee id, he have his transaction code. A finance consultant want to create a bank account, he is having a transaction code. A security consultant want to create new SAP user ID, he is having a transaction code in this way. So every SAP user required access to certain transaction code in this way. So as a part of ECC security, we are going to learn how to provide user administration based on the transaction codes, or in simple terminology, we are going to learn something called as a T code based security in this way. What we are going to learn? T code based security. And what are the prerequisites? So this is the first step to learn the security. And what are the prerequisites? The prerequisites is you should be a graduate, that's it. No technical background is required. You don't require any knowledge related to coding, you do not require any knowledge related to database, you do not require any knowledge related to operating systems, networks, nothing is required. Anyone with minimum graduation can learn this course. This is all about the SAP ECC or the S4 HANA security we are going to have here. So I will be just adding some add-on topics like 1 hour courses for this in this fundamental only. So what is that thing that I will be covering here is, first one is the HR security. So you may be asking here, HR is the part of ERP system only, right? Why again a separate course? Like I said, it is just a add-on course on your basics. So HR security is nothing but providing user administration for the HR consultants. So even in the HR security also, we learn the same concepts: users, roles, profile, authorization. But what makes the difference here is, the HR consultants, they not only required access to transaction codes, they are going to raise a request for the position. So the new concept that we are going to learn here is user administration based on the position, or in simple terminologies, we are going to learn something called as a position based security. So if it comes for the transaction code, the concept is 100% same. So only the new concept that is introduced is position. That's a 1 hour training we will undergo here in this way. So that's the concept, followed by another thing, SAP BWR BI security, business warehouse or business intelligence security. So can someone give me an overview? What is the purpose of BWR BI? Yes, business warehousing. Anyone have heard previously? No?
It is reports.
Yes, exactly. They are going to generate the reports. The BI team is going to generate a report in your project. They execute something called as queries and they generate the reports. So for the BI consultants also, we perform the same activities: users, roles, profile, authorizations. The BI consultants require transaction codes, and they will also require access to something called as query. So we are going to provide user access for BI consultants based on the query they require. Again, you don't require any query related knowledge to provide access. So again, this is again a 1 hour training we undergo here. So the only add-on things here, one session exclusively we are introducing what is meant by position, why this position access will be required for an HR consultant, how the HR consultant will raise the request and how we provide access based on the position. In the same way for the BI consultants. So what are these queries in SAP system? How the BI consultant will raise the request? How are we going to provide access to queries for a BI consultant? These are just a add-on topics in this way. So once we are done with, see here, so many times many students asking this one, are we going to do this training in the ECC system or the S4 HANA system? The answer is both. First I will be showing all our implementation in the ECC system. Later I will have so later after the GRC is completed, we have a specific training called upgradation from ECC to upgradation from ECC to S4 HANA. We are going for older version and the newer version. So both the systems I will be showing you what is how the implementation is happening in the ECC, the same security related executions or the transaction codes. How are we going to do the implementation in the S4 HANA system in both older version and new version? I will be showing the practical part in this way. So you no need to worry related to this one. So this is all about your fundamental, which is going to take around 6 weeks of duration. So Monday to Friday, daily 1 hour of training. So Monday to Friday, daily 1 hour of training. The timings are standardized. That is from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So from Monday to Friday, if we are having any holidays in the weekdays, like any festival holidays, we will be having a session on Saturdays if we are lagging the sessions in this way. Generally, it's a weekday training and 1 hour training we are going to take here in this way. So once we are done with this one,